At over 47,000 square miles, the Mojave Desert is one of the hottest and driest climates in the United States. Its breathtaking landscape attracts tourists from all over the world. But the Mojave's rugged beauty hides a dark secret. Dozens of people die here every year.
William and Susan Schmier were well known and well liked in Williamsburg. Last month, they embarked on a cross-country trip but never returned. First, their car was found abandoned at a California park. Days later, what is believed to be the remains of William Schmier were discovered. Susan's whereabouts remain unknown tonight.
I filmed one of the official searches back in July, and I learned two very surprising things that day. Counting Susan and William Schmier, 5 people died at the Amboy crater in just 12 months. This makes the Amboy crater America's most dangerous national landmark. I also learned that the body of Susan Schmier's husband, William, and 2 previous victims had all been found east of the trail. I think that they were disoriented after several hours of hiking in the intense heat. It's my theory that after her husband collapsed, Mrs. Schmier walked towards the 60-foot-high Roy's sign 3 miles to the east instead of returning to where their car was parked. I live in the desert and I wanted to do something to help bring some closure to this terribly sad story. So I asked a friend to go back to the Amboy crater with me. We used his drone to take high-resolution aerial photos of the area where I thought Susan's body would be. Back at home, I carefully analyzed each photo. I was looking for an anomaly, anything that seemed out of the ordinary. And then suddenly, I saw something, and my heart stopped. It could be a balloon, or it could be a woman's backpack. Early the next morning, Pat and I drove back there. Although we were desperate to find that object, we also had to be very, very careful because it was incredibly hot out there. We used my phone's GPS and navigated directly to where that mysterious object was. But unfortunately, it was just a balloon.
Search crews in California found the remains of a Williamsburg woman.
On April 28, 2019, almost a year after she disappeared, the body of Susan Schmier was finally located. This heartbreaking search was finally over, but less than an hour away at Joshua Tree National Park, another had just begun.
A search for a Canadian missing in California is entering its 5th day. Paul Miller went hiking at Joshua Tree National Park last Friday morning, and his wife reported him missing hours later. Let's bring in Sarah Galashan with more on the search. So Sarah, what's the latest?
Well, Andrew, so this goes back to Friday the 13th. 9 a.m. is when Paul Miller set out on this hike. He told his wife he was going to be back in a couple of hours.
The Rangers started searching for Paul Miller immediately. They were perfectly aware of the danger he was in if he was lost or incapacitated. They had to find him and get him out of that heat right away. The following day, a total of 90 volunteers, 3 dog teams, and a helicopter searched but found absolutely no trace of the missing man. So now my friend and I are exploring alternative routes that he might have taken. It's rugged and unforgiving terrain, and you have to be constantly on the lookout for rattlesnakes and other kinds of threats. But as dangerous as the daytime heat was, Mr. Miller faced an even more terrifying threat at night.
Good morning, Dan and Diane. 1 minute, the two men were biking. The next, they were attacked by a cougar, a terrifying encounter. One victim airlifted to the hospital, the other killed after the cougar chased him down.
Mountain lions are Joshua Tree's largest and most dangerous predator. They live in the park's higher elevations and generally eat mule deer and bighorn sheep. But since 1987, 13 people have been attacked by mountain lions in California. So last year, the Park Service took action. They released a video shot from a hidden camera that shows a mountain lion returning to a mule deer that it had killed earlier. This video was filmed inside the Joshua Tree National Park. It's now late September, and despite a mammoth effort by volunteers from Search and Rescue, no trace of Paul Miller has been found. The details in a case like this are important. For instance, Mr. Miller was a 51-year-old Canadian, and on the day he disappeared, the high temperature was 102 degrees. Therefore, a heat stroke had to be considered. But where was he? In the year after Mr. Miller's disappearance, I went up there 5 times to help search for him. On December 19th, 2019, authorities from the National Park Service reported that human remains had been seen in photographs that were captured by an aerial drone, not far from the 49 Palms Trail. The San Bernardino County coroner collected the remains the next day, and dental records later identified them as belonging to Mr. Paul Miller. The authorities said it was likely that Mr. Miller suffered either a heart attack or a heat stroke. At the Marine Corps Air Ground Combat Center near 29 Palms, a soldier was accidentally left behind after 3 exhausting days of live fire combat training. 19-year-old Lance Corporal Jason Rother was assigned to Kilo Company and put on guard duty during a nighttime exercise. But in the morning, after his company had returned to base, Corporal Rother wasn't with them because he'd never been relieved of duty. So Rother, in 107-degree heat, with no food and very little water, started back to base on foot. 40 hours would pass until the base armory noticed that his weapon was missing. And afterward, a massive search was launched with helicopters and 1,000 Marines on foot. But it would take the authorities 4 long months to find his body. He had walked 17 miles and passed away just 2 miles from the main base.